All Mother Saint beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and damnations, may the experience of happiness be separate from suffering and safely. I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious Buddhahood. O Mother Saint beings, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those who create obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience be happiness, be separate from suffering safely. I will establish them in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. Dala dangwara zibe da, no para zibe ge. Tarba dang dam je jembe, barde chu bara zeba, dam je je zo zebe. Manam ga da nyambe, zem jen dam je dewa dan de. Dungarar dan dra, nyorda lana me ba yang da bar. Zobe zanjo rumbo je do barza. Da zandra achieve enlightenment. I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. We take refuge in the kind rule Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas and Dakinis and the Dhamma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the example of the Bodhisattvas. As previous Buddhas invested in enlightenment and progress on the Bodhisattva's path. I too, for the benefit of all beings, giving birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to complete each stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha most excellent. I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of Janarasta and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all Mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separate from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. I bow down respectfully with my body, speech, and faithful mind to all Tathangatas in the 10 directions. Those who have already reached Tathangata state, those who are reaching at present, and those Tathangata state to come. Through the power of Samandabhada's prayers, may all Buddhas manifest vividly in my mind. I posted through them, multiplying my body as many times as there are atoms of the earth. In each atom, I visualize as many Buddhas as there are atoms, surrounded by countless Bodhisattvas. Thus all space is filled with Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I praise all Buddhas through manifesting, chanting, expressing the great origin of their excellent qualities. To all Buddhas, I make offering of various pure flowers, flower garlands of music, unnoting oils, manifesting light and fragrant incense. I make offering to them of fine garments, perfume, and purple, poured high as moon, meadow, and orange in the most beautiful way. Visualize the highest and most extensive offerings and offer them with great faith to all Buddhas. I prostrate to Buddhas and make offering them following the deeds of the great Bodhisattva Samandabhada. I confess to you, all Buddhas, whatever negative actions I have committed due to the power of anger, desire, and ignorance. I rejoice in the merit of all the Buddhas and the 10 directions of the great Bodhisattvas and the Pakika Buddhas. Those who have already attained Aharaship, those who have attained entire the path of Aharaship and all other beings. recourse to all great protectors and Buddhas to turn the highest way of Dharma as the light, dispelling the darkness of beings in the 10 directions, leading them gradually to the enlightened state. I supplicate thus Buddhas intending to pass into Nirvana, to living long for as many eons as there are atoms of the earth in order to benefit all beings. Whatever merit I have gathered through both stations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying for the sake of enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Show mandal offering. The ground is sprinkling with the scented water and strewn with the flowers. It is adorned with the Meru, the spring mountain, the four continents, the sun and the moon. As a Buddha fair, I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of Buddha fairs. To the lamas who possess the Tirikayas, I offer the altar ignorant sacred offerings with my body, worth, and all that is visible. Please grant me the supreme realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through both stations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying for the sake of enlightening of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Rina Mandala Punja Manga Samandra Savarana Samaye Ahom. I equal refuge, ornament of the world. Your fame provides the 3,000 worlds. You are the waiter of Arjadara with our door. I bow at the feet of Father Jiti Sungong. Continue laughing on no one but you. Compassionate one, grant your blessing. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unlimited nature of mind. Please turn the way of the Dharma of the two worlds and their combination according to disposition and likewise the mental capacity of sentient beings. Now we go to the Monastery. Long press to Monastery. His wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of the clouds of two worlds, and perceive the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds the wisdom text at his heart. He has compassion for all beings who suffer from the darkness of ignorance in the prison of samsara as a father for an only son. Like a thunderclap, he welcomes those who are sleeping in ignorance and losing the charm of karma through the 60 branch of Haramana's speech. He wears the wisdom sword to cut the settling of suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. And the Buddhist our form, he is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplished in the 10 levels and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, usually adorned by the 112 Son of Buddha, to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade. Om Arapazanade, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram, Om Wangeshoram. You who are the perfect, beautiful body, whose flame of wisdom blesses, and dispel the darkness of worldly ignorance, are posted before you and press human Joshiri. Yes, so now we go into the text. Pema Sambhavas Pongdring Art Instruction. Tangre Duje Shaje Reisen Dong Yingje Mazo Deje Bongjamba Serje Lembo Tavare Jiberga Shaje Yarbe Shala Sorwande Doje Jagar Penjen Pula Kadenje Pemain Jungne Kalan Den Dongme Tata Lano Simbe Kanonze Orjin Rinpoche La Sorwande Dojen Janjen De Lo Narota Marban Malai Jije Gamboba Pamo Chupai Jarwai De Gongbe Kaju Lama Nam Lai Sorwande Romain Chije Yenge Bodangni Te Song Sanje Genje Ngo Nye Ransen Chige Ngo Song Dong Zebe Save Lama Jala Sorwande Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pongteng Instruction Teaching. Thank you for coming, everyone, for the teaching.
Thank you.
Today, I'm going to share. Thank you. Share the teaching Guru Prema Sambhava's Pongteng or instruction given to old woman. You have the text here. You can download from the website. Okay, so now this text shared a couple years ago teaching. So that time I have a translator, and then after we did a transcription. So root text and commentary together. Then Amanda put all is a really nice organized together, different sections, chapters, everything. Thank you, Amanda. So this page 2:1 is the contents. Page 2 is the root text. Page 3 is root text. So we have to go to page 4. Starting teaching the page 4. If someone just wanted to read the root text, then you can read the root text, and also you can read the commentary, listening, teaching, and they help you more clear. So here is a brief commentary on Guru Pema Sambhava Pongteng or instruction given to old woman. It's very short, actually, commentary. Commentary can be really long. So this kind of teaching, we can make commentary is 100 pages. But this is very short, brief. So 2-3 years ago, when I shared this teaching, I think it's only 1 day teaching. So that's why we have short commentary, short teaching. So you study this teaching, and then you really know the essence of Buddha Dharma, essence of the Dzogchen teaching, Mahamudra. So this is called the Pitta instruction. Pitta instruction means not talking about the branches, just talking about the root, and directly into the subdued our crazy mind. So that's called the instruction, Pitta instruction. Especially this is called Pongteng instruction, means really pointing to our mind. So Pema Sambhava, he giving this teaching for old woman. He pointing the the Buddha nature. So then how to discover the Buddha nature. He just give very short words, teachings, and performed everything, included actually all the Buddha's teachings subsumed into this 3 Pongteng instructions. 3 different ways he giving the instructions for old woman. Homage and prostration to the Lama and the Supreme Deity. So when you actually listening this teaching, or you're going to meditate, practice, like you always think about your Guru and the supplication to Guru. So due to the Guru's blessing, you can connect with the teaching, and also you get blessing and devotion arise. This Dharma benefit, this teaching practice Dharma benefit for you. Dharma benefit or not is actually dependent for our connections. Even we say this is the Pitta instruction, very special teaching, but due to our ability, we don't have devotions, then we don't much have to get blessing from the guru and yadam deities. Even teaching is performed, but not much get benefits. And that's the reason the Buddhist is not up to Buddha and the Dharma. Buddhist is up to Sangha. So Sangha is us. We have to put effort, do something, you know. We have to come from our side, Sangha. So then Buddha Dharma can benefit. Buddha Dharma is always there. That's you have to understand. Is here is the, you know, we homage and prostration to the Lama. We have to think about when you're ready to read this teaching and you wanted to listening teaching, meditate, anything what you're doing. So using this kind of teaching, you always meditate to Guru, supplication to Guru. Then also supreme deity is today is Pema Sambhava. Visualize Pema Sambhava and supplication to Pema Sambhava. If you don't know much, you know how to supplication to Pema Sambhava. We have the every day, you know, daily practice have a short verses. The supplication to Pema Sambhava, you can use that. They have two different supplication Pema Sambhava. So that kind of, you know, mentally chant and chanting, visualize supplication to Pema Sambhava. Then this background of Guru Rinpoche's pointing out instruction on all the women who had offered Guru Rinpoche cut the fruit during one of his retreat request these instructions. Pema Sambhava, he was in the Samye Monastery. So during that time, he received every morning yogurt and some fruit, but he don't know who offering that. And so this older woman, she sent to her serving, so that delivery to offering to Pema Sambhava. And then that whole retreat, she offering this food for Pema Sambhava. Then one day Pema Sambhava, he come out, you know, second Mambalat at the Samye Monastery. So then old woman was there. So she posted to Pema Sambhava and asked request, give some instruction for her. So then Pema Sambhava gave this teaching for her. So usually, you know, people think Buddhist teachings only have to through the study and who has good, you know, education, knowledge, they can practice Buddha Dharma. And also monastics can practice Buddha Dharma, but not the ordinary people. So this teaching is, you know, purify that kind of thoughts and perceptions. Also break the, you know, like that kind of, how to say, the roles too. So this is really good for, you know, actually for lay practitioner. This instruction is, especially in this generation time. She records the instruction that record later hardship. So then she also asked Pema Sambhava. She knows she cannot do same is like what the Naropa, Marpa Losa, Malarepa that did, you know, hardship. You know, so when they received the teachings, they all they did hardships. So she cannot do that. She even cannot do the same as the monastic monks and the nuns. So she knows that. That's the reason she thinks she cannot get teaching, just something blessing from Pema Sambhava. You know, but she recalls like it's a later hardship. She says she don't have a capacity. The main point is like ability to hardship to practice the Dharma. Are easy to understand because that means he maybe don't know how to read. I don't think so. During that time, mostly people can read, you know, education. She is education. You can see clearly. So that means Dharma is like individually always have some method to benefit. Different ways. You cannot say like, I don't have, you know, opportunity. You always have something opportunity, practice Dharma. You cannot say, I don't have ability. You always have ability. And you cannot say, I don't have a connection. So you always have a connection as long as you recognize, you know. So that's also depending, you know, like our due to karma too. So the easy to understand is like she cannot study all the same as the monks and nuns education, like study Buddhist philosophy. No time to do that. She's already old and uneducated. And and are very effective. So then she asked like really effective, special. So she asked because it's really performed. Pema Sambhava actually, he no choice to, you know, even he has something he can show, he can share something, he no choice. He have to share to this teaching for her. It's always like connections arise there, you know, karmic connections. So that is actually not this teaching benefited Pema Sambhava giving all the woman. So her aspiration, Pema Sambhava, of course, is compassion, and this as all the woman's devotions, their aspiration is benefit like many sentient beings. Same is like same situation as she. We think, oh, she get big benefit, but this teachings like we get benefit. She asked this recourse to Pema Sambhava. Guru Rinpoche acknowledge her request and begins by pressing her devotion, saying. So then Pema Sambhava saying these words to her. You are surely one who has a great devotion than King Tuzon Depsing. So Pema Sambhava told her, you have more devotion than King Tuzon Depsing. The King Tuzon Depsing is a benefit of Pema Sambhava. King Tuzon Depsing in what to Pema Sambhava in Tibet. But she see this teaching is not receiving the King Tuzon Depsing. This teaching is Pema Sambhava giving to this older woman. The teaching is not followed by your possessions, your, you know, like your is high like official or your power, not related to the power, right? And the possessions, not dependent like who can offering something more better than others. So this teaching is like up to the devotion. So that is very clear. King Tuzon Depsing, he didn't have opportunity, capacity to receive this teaching. Why? Because he didn't have enough qualified through the devotion. So he has other everything, you know, qualified, but devotion, this older woman has more devotion than king. So that's, you know, followed by the Buddha time, the story. King Sajar, he invited Buddha Shakyamuni and all his Buddha Shakyamuni's retinues, monks and all the monks. He offering lunch and did like precious things, like everyone rejoicing him, what he done, all the great thing. But one old woman offering one butter lamb, and then when finished the offerings, Buddha Shakyamuni dedication to the old woman's butter lamb. So the old woman butter lamb has more merit than King Sajar's or the offering, the, you know, lunch, and he preparing like usually president comes, you know, country is preparing like beautiful ways. So like that, King Sajar clean up all the road, put everywhere flowers and offerings. He did so much offering for Buddha and his retinues. But end of practicing or generosity offering, Buddha Shakyamuni did, dedication to the old woman. She one single the butter lamb offering. So she has a very strong devotion and aspirations. So she has a very strong rejoice at the king Sajjar, what he did. So that's why Buddha Shakyamuni, seeing she has more merit the king. So there's the same kind of story information. Pema Sambhava says, so you has more devotion to the king Tuzon Debsin. That's why she can receive this teaching. Some of you may not be familiar with the love story of Guru Rinpoche, so you may not know exactly who King Tuzon Debsin is. King Tuzon Debsin was the king of Tibet during the time of Guru Rinpoche. He is the one who invited Guru Rinpoche to Tibet and sponsored Guru Rinpoche. He was his great benefactor. This king had great love for the Dharma. It was due to him and his bring Guru Rinpoche to Tibet, and the Dharma spread far and wide there. So King Tuzon Debsin invited Pema Sambhava and many paintas. Paintata means scholars from India. So during that time, all these Kanjo text, Buddha's text, is translation to the Tibetan language. It is at the 8th century. So King Tuzon Debsin has like that kind of ability, but he no opportunity to receive this teaching because this old woman has more devotion than King Tuzon Debsin. That means she has more connection too. Some different ways. The first thing that Guru Rinpoche talked to old woman was the importance of proper posture. The 7-point posture of Verochana, first he said to the old woman. So he told her, sit down, sit the posture, 7-point posture. That's a Pema Sambhava, he giving the first instruction actually. So giving her the body training. The teaching comes like body training, mind training. So that is body training means like we have to change our body is habituate. Our body don't have enough meditation habituate. So we have a very strong samsaric habituate. When you sit in the chair right away, you just wanted to lay down or hang in the chair, watch the TV, or calling with talking with other people, calling the phone, like kind of all this samsaric habit you already has in our body. So no meditation habit enough. Long as you change the body's habituate, you have more opportunity to meditate and practice Dharma. So that's the reason this old woman, maybe she also don't know how to meditate before. This can see clearly. The Pema Sambhava told her you have to change your body's habituate. If not change the body habituate, she cannot meditate. So same is like just usually our everyday, usual day, Long as you have a good body habituate, when you sit down and naturally going to the 7-point posture of your body, then you can meditate like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whichever you can have time is easily go into the meditation. So body training is very important. If you have good habituate your own your body postures, then where you go, like you go to the parks, and or your room, and wherever you sit down, and you're going to naturally sit the body posture for meditation posture. Then you can meditate. That's the reason Pema Sambhava told her, old woman, cross your legs. So cross the leg is you can, if you can, of course it's important, cross leg, that give you your habituate, change your habituate. And then most important is you have to align your spine. Wherever you sit down, meditate, so you have to align your spine. And you cannot sit like this, not like this. Yeah, so not like this. You must have to have a seat like this. So that's everyone can do, The cross leg is like, if you're not used to, it's not easy. When we was young and joined the monastery, so that time is the hardest suffering. One hardest suffering is cross leg. So prayer goes like at least 2 hours. And when you sit in the, together with the monks, you cannot use stretch your legs. That is a rule. You cannot do that. You must sit cross-legged. It doesn't matter you pain or whatever difficulty you have. So no excuse there. So you have to cross-legged to sit. If you don't sit, then they kick out you. Okay, that's why it's hard to do that, and difficulty if you don't used to that. Take really long time to become used to that. That's why in Tibet, monks go before into the monastery, they practice this cross-leg sitting, practice hours reading, chanting, Sometimes people say, what require to join the monastery? I think require to cross-leg practice first. It's really important. Some monasteries, roar is really hard or very tight. When you sit no cross-leg, you stretch your legs, then you get punished. So that is really hardest. So no, if you cannot cross a leg, but you most important is align your spine, and then find your legs in the Vajra posture and straighten your spine, align your spine and relax your mind. So your body must be relaxed when you're going to meditate. Body need kind of more balance. Then you can meditate. If your body is too tight, also not great for meditation. So when you do the 7-point posture, also you really need to relax and balance. Then that's also depend on the individual. Some people has a fogginess mind. Then that people need to tight up, more tight up your postures. Some has too much thoughts, called mind is a monkey mind, crazy mind. Then you need more relax your body, more relax. Generally, you need a balance, not too relaxed, not too tight. So have to go balance. Then your body is relaxed, your mind also can be relaxed too. Relax your mind. Then he pointed his finger at the old woman and he said, so this is called pointing instruction like this, pointing, finger pointing to the heart. Pema Sambhava, he shared the teaching. He has very strong, powerful, Pema Sambhava is not that peaceful and he has more power and wrathful. So that's why he has ability to subdue all the negative deeds. That means he has love, but is showing love is different ways. It's different ways to benefit others. So he pointing his finger onto the old woman. Then he told her this. He said, know you lesson. So that also very important. Know you lesson means you have to listen and teaching. Then Buddha also says listening and I can share you teaching, listening. before the received teaching, so many required there to how to properly listening teaching. So that's also actually have to share the, when you receive the teaching. Maybe you mostly today we don't have time to share that. So you cannot do like receive right ear to left, go with left ear, okay? And when you receive the teaching and bring into your mind and pay attention, focus. So when you listening teaching, also you must have to have joy and happy. It's enthusiasm. Then when you listening teaching, cannot bring your emotions like with listening teaching. So you have to release your emotion, thoughts, and pay attention and joy, effort. Long as you have that, then you can, listening properly, teaching, you can hear correctly. So that's why Pema Sambhava told her, you listen. The Buddha has taught limitless dharmas. So Pema Sambhava told her, Buddha Shakyamuni giving limitless teachings because due to all the capacities, different beings, different levels, different positions. So that Buddha's compassion and wisdom. Why Buddha taught limitless dharmas? That is his compassion and his wisdom. He has wisdom. That's why he can share so many teachings. He has compassion. That's why he's sharing that teachings for everyone. So dharma is the same as transportation. So then think about actually you have to transport for one city the people, then not only airplane, so not only train, not only bus, not only the car. So we need many different kind of transportations to help them, each one, to go to the take to the right directions. So that is like the Buddha has a compassion because he say, I cannot help you. I cannot tell you, you have to stay at that city. You have to die there. No, he never said like that, yeah. So city has a disaster, like example, one city, think about a disaster. So everyone has to transport or change to direction. So risku, right? Called risku. And there, like Buddha risku everyone due to their individual level. So like that, he has a compassion. He never leave anyone behind there. So then he has that wisdom to share these different teachings. So that's why Pema Sambhava said Buddha has taught limitless dharmas. So all is different levels, capacities. I'm going to teach you the very hard essence of those limitless dharmas. So now, due to her ability, this old woman's ability, or recourse her devotion, Pema Sambhava he going to share is also his teaching is Buddha's teaching. He said, my teaching is not Buddha's teaching, right? He said, my teaching is Buddha's teaching, but it is the essence of the Buddha's teaching. Sometimes people misunderstand. In Tibet also has like that. Pema Sambhava taught some teachings more better than Buddha Shakyamuni. So that's also like because due to the no study Dharma. And there's some just think Pema Sambhava has more ability than Buddha Shakyamuni. So Pema Sambhava say, I'm not sharing anything different than Buddha's teaching. I'm sharing is Buddha's teaching. I'm sharing the teaching is Buddha's essence, the teaching to you. Because her devotion and her capacity going to teach you the very hard essence of the limitless dharmas. Those two whom we refer to as Buddhas are actually no different from sentient beings. So no, Pema Sambhava says the Buddha, those to whom we refer to, this is the root text, most important intersections. See? Those to whom we refer to as Buddha are actually the refer to Buddha Shakyamuni or other Buddhas are actually no different from sentient beings. So that is helps overwhelming courage to do meditate and practice. So otherwise she think, oh, I'm old, I don't have education, I am female, and she like kind of like pushing herself is like more low, and she don't have ability. She, that's why Pema Sambhava give up here. He told her, you have all ability to practice Dharma. You have all this opportunity because you are not different from the Buddhas. All sentient beings are not different from the Buddhas. Buddhas are actually no different from sentient beings. The Buddhas, sentient beings, all has nature, same essence. And she also have that nature. She can become Buddha. The Buddha Shakyamuni include all the Buddhas also used to sentient beings. So they purify their karma and become Buddha. So that's the Pema Sambhava give it to old woman. So she received this, teaching. She get courage to do practice. The only difference between Buddhas and the sentient beings is that Buddha know this Buddha nature and the sentient beings do not. So Buddhas knows Buddha nature, they discovered. Sentient beings, we don't know we have a nature, we not yet discover our own nature because lots of obstacles there. Even we use these teachings, we know intellectually we have a Buddha nature, but still our nature is not discovered because we have so many obstacles, afflictive emotions still there. So we know the sun is in the sky, but still we are suffering if like bad weather. So that is the same as the intellectually you understand we have a Buddha nature. Even intellectually you have a Buddha nature, but not yet discovered. Still we are suffering in samsara. So when the bad weather, we know the sun is in the sky, but still we are suffering due to the bad weather. So like that. And this, intellectually, study Dharma, we have a Buddha nature, but still we are suffering because we have afflictive emotions still. So then discover here mean point, what means discover means like realize, discovering their own nature is free from emotions. So that is the Buddhas already discover means. Recognize, they knows their nature. Buddhas knows this Buddha nature. And the sentient beings do not, we don't know. Intellectually we know, but we not yet discover. So just I told you the examples. If you understand the nature of mind, you are Buddha. Then you discover your own nature, you are Buddha. So Buddha is not come from somewhere else. Buddha is our own mind. So then which our own mind is like your present moment mind is Buddha nature. The main point is. So your Buddha nature is always with you, means your present always with you. Your present mind is always with you. That is our nature. That is Buddha nature. So if you understand the nature of mind, you are Buddha. If you do not understand it, then you are sentient beings. So we are ordinary beings. We don't know the nature, means we don't discover our own nature. We have afflictive emotions. Then we are ordinary beings who wanders in samsara. Then that beings in samsara. So this actually, Mahamudra Dzogchen teachings, samsara nirvana. You see, who realize the natural mind, they are nirvana. Who don't realize the natural mind, that is samsara, not actually 6 realms only, yeah? Sometimes we have also, the dependent individual level. This is the teaching is sharing a little bit different ways. Recognize samsara. What is samsara? This 6 afflictive emotion is samsara. What is nirvana? You free from this 6 afflictive emotion is nirvana. Then doesn't matter where you are. You can be nirvana is your home. You can be samsara is your home. So you don't have to fly to somewhere else to nirvana. You cannot stuck somewhere else in the go to stuck, like same as a prisoner in the means in samsara, not like that. It's it's always up to our mind. Think about, long as we have this 6 afflictive emotions, then that is samsara. Doesn't matter where you are. So we are free from these 6 afflictive emotions, our own mind. Then where you are, doesn't matter. Your home is in nirvana. Your office is in nirvana. Your inside the car is in nirvana. Wherever you go is in nirvana. That's the you really understanding Dharma. You have to follow like that way. Otherwise, your caution is endless. You always ask questions, where is nirvana, where is samsara? Like then we talking about 6 realms and which kind of beings, why they are there, like walking free from that 6 realms. So much answers and questions endless. So this teaching is like he already told, like I'm going to the root, essence. That's why he's sharing this right away, the essence of the teaching. Samsara nirvana is our own mind. This pro-moral wisdom of Buddhahood, this pristine awareness of Buddha is possessed by all beings. So no, the part is the commentary. So commentary here is a pristine awareness. What is the Buddha nature means? Pristine awareness of the Buddha is possessed by all beings. But as sentient beings, we simply do not recognize this intrinsic nature. We don't recognize our own nature. Therefore, sentient beings have the cause of Buddhahood. That's why we have a causes of Buddhahood. We have a causes of Buddha. And even more, so those beings who have the fortune of having achieved a precious human rebirth with 18 freedoms and adornments. So how to then we recognize our own nature, what the condition we need. The condition most important, we have to reborn to human beings. If you want to discover your own nature, the highest level condition, we have to reborn to the human being's body. Other realms, no possible to discover, recognize your own nature. If we are reborn to the animals, no possible to discover our own nature there, because the condition is not there. That's why we also have to recognize how we are lucky and we have this opportunity, first reborn to the precious human body, free from this, 18 freedom and adornments. So we have that. It's hard to get that. Not easy to even human beings have 18 freedoms in the endowments. So that's the part of we have to cultivate precious human body. They in particular have the potential to achieve Buddhahood. Then everyone has potential to achieve Buddhahood, but need condition to recognize that. That is only human beings who get this 18 freedoms. That person then have opportunity to, achieve the Buddhahood. There is a temporary difference between Buddhas and the sentient beings, but at the very basic, there is no difference whatsoever. Temporarily difference, of course, sun is like yesterday, like clear weather, the sun, today weather is clouded. The only temporary difference because due to the clouds. So the sentient beings have these all the afflictive emotions, obstacles. Buddha is free from obstacles, only that part is different. The other basic or is same, no difference. That's the reason when we share the Vajrayana teaching followed by ground, path, result. The ground is the same. All the sentient beings' nature and all the Buddha's nature is the same. The ground is the same. No difference. Ground is the same. Then path is become different. Path, one ground, two path. Usually when you chant the Khenpo prayer, one ground, two path. So same basic, Buddhas and the sentient beings, but two path to Nirvana, path to samsara, two path. Then two result, samsara and Nirvana, two result, two path, two result, one ground. So when we have become Buddha means what we have in the ground, our nature is Buddha. So, but that ground has obstacle on the path, the purify the obstacles. Result is become same. Result is like we recognize ground what we have that is discovered. So that is result. Example, if you know the under the ground have a gore, like just example, like okay, shining beautiful Buddha's gold statue under the ground. So that is basic ground. So path is you digging the earth to try to discover that statue, golden statue you're going to discover. That is a path you digging. And when you discover the statues you get your hand, and the statue is under the ground. When you get into your hand, it's no difference. It's same statue. So that means like ground result is the same. And the path is like, remove the actually obstacles, emotions, and recognize ground result is inseparable. So that's why it's Pema Sambhava here also she's sharing is the very basic, there is no difference whatsoever. There is no one who has more or lesser potential for Buddhahood. So basic ground is the same thing. Then no one has more or lesser potential because that old woman, she thinks she don't have capacity to become Buddha. She thinks she don't have a potential, become Buddha. So Buddha says, the Pema Sambhava says, there is no one who has more or lesser. It's equal there, all sentient beings equal. No difference, all is the same become. That everyone has opportunity, everyone has the capacity, potential for Buddhahood. So Pema Sambhava, this first he giving her is like make courage for her. Pema Sambhava giving instructions like she have to recognize what she has ability. She didn't think she has this ability. So Pema Sambhava, that's why he told her, you have ability, you have these potentials. You can become Buddha. The older woman maybe thinks only monastics has ability to become Buddha. She thinks she is not. So Pema Sambhava said not. Same is this monastics, you no difference. Everyone has same opportunity, same capacity. Lesser potential for Buddhahood. So that's it, giving all the answers. Like sometimes people say, what is Buddhist view for women and races and different beings? So what Buddhist view is for animals, others? So thinking about this is the Buddhist view is equanimity for everyone. Everyone has opportunity to become Buddha. Buddhahood. It doesn't make any difference what one's person qualities or background is. Not depending for nationalities, not depending your possessions, not depending your educations. This teaching, you can become Buddhas, not up to any this samsaric, background. So this is like background is up to in the person's devotion. Qualities or background is, or whether one is male or female. So it doesn't matter you are male or you are female. Doesn't matter you are monk or nun. Doesn't matter you are, is the monastic or you are lay person. Doesn't matter you have education or uneducated. Doesn't matter you are old or young. So this is all up to is devotion. Whether or is female or male, all have equal potential for enlightenment. Everyone have equal potential for enlightenment. So that is very important, right? You read that, you also get courage to yourself. You want to do something. So even sometimes we have emotions, we get obstacles, sad things like in the samsara. Of course, always have this. Samsara is due to, like Buddha already said, samsara is suffering. So we know no one is free from suffering. Everyone has always have different kind of sufferings all the time. But as long as you recognize that, whatever difficulty you have, you never lost your courage. Practice. All have equal potential for enlightenment. Guru Rinpoche went on to say, in order for sentient beings to have the method which suits them according to their individual capacity. So then this teaching also clarify. Then why is monastic roles? Why is like this Buddhist philosophy traditions? Why is the religions like that's all is like individual capacity. So this teaching is not against contradiction to that. Yeah. Otherwise, we say, oh, wow, we don't need to monastery. Why that is so important? Not necessary. So then the monastic people think this is the wrong. You must be monastic. Otherwise, you cannot become Buddha. Some people think, oh, who's become monastic, they just created their own suffering, difficulty. No need to go to do that part. Why you just practice this easy one? So that kind of people has many, thoughts and become debating, contributions each other. So Pema Sambhava said, no, you don't think that this all method, different method, have the method which suits them according to individual capacity. Yeah, so maybe you don't have a capacity to become monks and nuns, but you have a capacity to receive this teaching. So some monks and nuns can have a capacity to become monks and nuns, but they don't have a capacity to receive this teaching. So that is the see, all this follow the capacity level means. Capacity is also like see up to the individual, many different ways. So you can have this you have capacity to receive this teaching, but you don't have a capacity to follow the monks and monastery rules. So that means so you think, oh, I cannot become Buddha because I cannot do that. That also misunderstand. The monastics, monks, nuns also have capacity to be that way, but then they also think, oh, if we don't follow this way, no one can become Buddhahood. That's also misunderstand. You have a different method. So this helps you become more open mind. The teachings no contradiction each other. So otherwise, like you only think only one road. This is like too narrow mind. They have so many roads. Don't think about only one transportation, not only bicycle. They have many different kind of transportation. So the transportation, like some is like only one person can transport. Then some is like 100,000 people can transportation use one time together. So there are no contradiction. They all have different method. So like that, the teachings all have using different method. It is for this reason that the Buddha taught all of the 84,000 categories of the Dharma. They are all for the purpose of helping beings to realize the persisting awareness or pro-moral wisdom inherent in their own mind streams. That is the most important you have to know. They are all for the purpose of helping beings to realize this potential awareness or pro-moral wisdom inherent in their own mind streams. The teachings rescue you different levels, but Buddha's main purpose, goal is recognize own awareness, own nature, discover you are Buddha. So how to discover that? Then so many different methods because due to capacity. If we are stuck in the hell realms, no possible to capacity, no opportunity to discover nature. That's why we have to create accumulation, purify negative karma, not stuck in the hell realms. Okay, that teaching or method also important. Then if long as we stuck in the hungry ghost realm, no opportunity to discover this nature. No any contradictions there. We are free from that state. If we are stuck animal realms, we not possible to discover our own nature. So we are free from that. So that also has method, different teachings, how to free from these hell realms, how to free from teaching method practice helps free from hungry ghost, which practice helps free from animal realms. Yeah, so that's also we need, right? Important. Then, okay, up to like how to free from the human beings suffering, how to free from this or the jealousy gods realms suffering, free from samsara. So we need this practice. Lower realms liberation to higher realms liberation to Buddhahood. So that's why all these teachings, Buddha giving different levels of method. But no, what we have to focus, discover our own nature. That is, we have to focus for our goal. Even we not discover 100% in this life, but long as you have these teachings, you already have the connections. Even we falling to the lower realms, very short term. They said like Tarj Polong Sala Dapatsam is Tibetan called means it's something like just touch to the ground and the right way pulling up. So like that, something touch in the ground means like you just moment you falling to the lower realms, but right away due to this teachings practice, like you can free from the lower realms. Some ways maybe we have our big karma, and due to like broken vows, due to that even we falling lower realms very short term comparing to animal realms, other like who don't have these teachings. So that's also how we are lucky, we have to understand. Then who practice this teaching, you have capacity, ability to one lifetime become Buddha. So that's why here Pema Sambhava said they are all for the purpose of helping beings to realize this persisting awareness or pro-motor wisdom inherent in their own mind streams. So that's, we have that. We have to recognize that own nature. That is the then Buddha. So everyone has that nature. You don't have to buy that. We have just discovered that. We don't have to create that nature. We have that, but we have only discovered that own nature. That's why everyone has opportunity. Everyone has, potential for enlightenment. No, I'm going to give it to you. So no Pema Sambhava, I'm going to give it to you overwhelming. The very essence of these split instructions, the very heart essence of all of these 84,000 categories of Dharma, you need not have any feeling of discouragement, thinking that you are not very bright, or what you have less intelligence or wisdom. You don't need to think in that way. So very clear there. We don't have to think about, okay, we are not become monk and nuns, right? You don't have to think that. And you don't have to think about, oh, I cannot study all these Buddhist philosophies. You cannot think, you don't need to think about, I'm not philosopher or, like scholar. Still you can have an opportunity to enlightenment. This part, you need to not have a feeling of discouragement. That's really good. Thinking that you are not very bright, that you have less intelligence or wisdom. So she has this doubt. The Pema Sambhava knows right away what she needs. So that's why before teaching, he give up her courage. Giving her courage, she has become, she have to recognize her own has capacity. And then you don't need to think in that way. Guru Rinpoche continues saying that he is going to point out the true meaning of the enlightenment of the Buddha in their pit statements. So I will explain this three in on abbreviated fashion, and also a more extensive, elaborate vision. First, I will teach the abbreviated form. So he's going to share this first very short, summarize, and then going to explain more details. So that helps not confused. She can could be, confused if he share right away, instinctively, instinctive, elaborated vision. He can be get confusion. So that's why Pema Sambhava, he give it this instruction first, very short, then extensively. Guru Rinpoche's three-pit instruction in belief. First, if you purify the fixation to outer object, then naturally appearances are liberated in their own place. Okay. So this is like main important is like free from attachment. So mind cannot attach to the object. Long as your mind is attached to the phenomena object, then we cannot free from samsara. So that's why Pema Sambhava giving here this first bit instruction, how to free from, fixation to the object. The natural appearance are liberated into the own place. Second, if you purify the inwardly fixated mind, then mind itself is naturally liberated. The mind also cannot stuck with thoughts and emotions. So if you're not stuck with this mind, the appearance object, but you can stuck with your thoughts and emotions. So that's why Pema Sambhava says mind need also purified inwardly fixated mind. The mind itself is naturally liberated. The third is when clear like luminosity shines forth and you recognize the true nature of your own mind, then you have recognized awareness itself as the mind of enlightenment. So main point is we usually talk about the obstacles. What is the obstacles? Here is the main point, two things. We are fixation to the phenomena object. Then we are stuck with our emotions and the thoughts. So long as you are not longer attached to phenomena object, you are not stuck with your mind is thoughts, emotions, you discover your own nature, you recognize your nature, so you have become Buddha. And that's the he's sharing here. So three different ways, Peter instruction. The last is just more focused with, and recognize own experience. The four commentary on the three Peter instructions, commentary on the first instruction. If you purify the fixation to outer object, then naturally appearances are liberated in their own place. Regarding the first instruction to purify the fixation to outer objects, these split instructions are exemplified by the instruction given by Telopa to Naropa. Telopa said to Naropa, Naropa, it is not appearance themselves that bend. It is the fixating mind that bends. So in this section, follow the Pit instruction teaching and follow the philosophy tradition. Is a little bit different approaching, The philosophy tradition is like you investigating all these phenomena. You really see these phenomena are not inherently exist. Use your intellectual investigating. So understanding clearly. So that's the philosophy tradition. It takes a longer time to understand that. So we have to talk about impermanent. Then we have to talk about all is interdependent. And then talk about this, everything is like emptiness, or it's become emptiness, like using this analytical meditation or practice or teachings, use the logic we have to like analyze everything, take longer time to recognize that, and then you are no longer to attachment. You see that everything no exist. So here is just not like that we're going to longer path. It's more short Pita instruction. So some more suit for this way, you know, some need like more instruction, it's investigation. Need like philosophy tradition. So this one is, see, it is not appearance themselves that bend. And appearance, we don't have to analyze, you know, recognize emptiness. So Telopa told Naropa, this appearance actually, you know, is not bend our mind. Bind our mind. So attachment is bind our mind. That's the reason it is the fixating mind that binds. You know, mind is a fixation to the object. That is a problem. Object is no problem. So if you know this one, then your job is no problem. Your family is no problem. Okay, your whatever you have, this where you live, the city, community, or that is no problem. So problem is your fixation. Yeah. So we have to destroy or release our fixation mind. Long as your fixation mind, then your mind is bent. Bent, I think it's like correct. Maybe I can say pronunciation correct, bent. That is like that also depending individual, you know, some can be bent with your mind, fixation mind is like maybe $1 single there, your mind is a fixation to that. Some is like just, you know, $1 million, like no fixation. So that is like not dependent, you know, like how much you own or much you not owned. So its problem is mind fixation. Homeless can be like mind fixation to the garbage. You know, the yogis realizers can become, you know, chakra king. Like we talk about the chakra king, means like the realizers can be king for benefit others. They're not attached to their kingdoms, anything. So there's no fixation to the what that he has, power and object. Homeless can be stuck with the garbage, you know, like some maybe not any valued things. So that's why our mind cannot attach to the object. Otherwise, your mind is bent. Okay, so that's its first Peter instruction, what Pema Baba following, you recognize, understand. Long as your mind is attached to fixation to the object, your mind cannot liberate. The first instruction by Guru Rinpoche is the same in the meaning as this Peter instruction from Telopa to Naropa. So exactly same thing, just different words. Guru Rinpoche said, if you look directly at awareness itself, so you really look into your awareness itself. Look means there's not really subject object there, because your mind seeing mind means you don't have two mind, but they have ability. Your mind recognize your own mind. That is no subject in the object. You're seeing your own nature. Same is the butter lamb seeing their own. So like that, and your mind seeing your own, and even no subject object. So here is the instruction. So follow the words. We don't have to sharing the different ways, like no choice. Main point is no choice. That's why we have to follow like this. You look directly at awareness. So you have to looking directly into your awareness means no dualistic, no conceptual. That is you looking directly at awareness itself. It is looking to, you know, look directly at awareness itself is no conceptual, no dualistic. But this is words. That's why we know any other way to sharing, you know. We have to use the words. Point to the moon, you have to use the finger. So look itself means it's no subject object there, it's no dualistic. Then conceptual thoughts will be naturally liberated in its own place. Then all thoughts, conceptual, this appearance will be naturally liberated in its own place. When you really meditate, you know, your awareness, log into your nature, you be into the nature, your mind is no longer stuck with this or in the phenomena. Your mind is not stuck with the phenomena object. Your mind is not fixation to the object. You don't have a dualistic. You don't have a conceptual. So that's where you can release all this, you know, fixation from the object. Then a conceptual thought is naturally arising. It is self-arising and self-liberated. So conceptual thought is arising, but it is self-rising and self-liberated. Just think about this, all the waves from the beach, ocean, they arise itself, arising and self-liberated. They go back to their own, to the ocean. So you don't want to, you know, they have the waves from the ocean. You try to stop that. You're suffering. You never ever can stop that. Then what do you have to do? You just relax, let go. That kind of, you know, create like your, doing yourself is too tight. Your heart doing that is not correct. Just leave and naturally dissolve. Then there's a close. You see, today my place here is a close, no sun. So this is it same. See, where is this conceptual thought means like where is this foggy cloud is arise, conceptual thoughts, the same is like that. It's naturally arising. This is naturally arising. It is self-arising and self-liberated. We cannot move this. Just leave, then they naturally go away. Yeah, liberated. Same like that, thoughts, emotion arise. Like last week I shared with you, no rejecting, no accepting, just live like that. So right now here sharing is like talking about this auto level phenomena. All these appearances arise. So it's called self-arise. Arising in the self, then liberated. Self means long as your mind is no fixation to that object, is self-liberated. Without a fixation to outer appearances, then there is nothing whatsoever that can bind the mind. Bind the mind or bind the mind. Whatever it is that appears, there are all these appearances that are witnessed by awareness. There's earth and stones and mountains, rivers and trees, friends, brothers and sisters, parents and enemies, loved ones, all sorts of limitless phenomena appear to the mind. So individually, this appear to the mind, you know, oh my. If there is no fixation in the mind, then the appearances themselves cannot do anything harm. So your mind is not fixation to that object, is not harming for yourself anything. It is fixating on these outer objects that causes the inward suffering of the mind. So your mind is a fixation to the object, that is the problem, suffering. Long as your mind is no fixation to the object, then your mind is free from samsara. So we cannot have right now, like right away, you have ability to like, give up all this fixation to the object. But you're hearing these teachings, you habituate, and when you meditate more, and then no longer this object is distracting to you, that time then you are the practitioner, you have become yogi and yoginis. So object is always there, but the object is not any more distracting for you. So you can benefit the others, like you can benefit your loved ones, you can help them, you can help for others, but the loved ones no causes of suffering. See, the practitioner, the loved ones no causes of suffering. Ordinary people, loved ones is causes of suffering. Our material object is causes of suffering. Enemy is causes of suffering. Yeah. So practitioner, loved one is not causes of suffering, and enemy is not longer causes of suffering. So whatever the material object also no causes of suffering. So that is the difference, like ordinary people and the practitioner. So very clearly. But this, not right away you have ability to do this. So you have to cultivate, meditate. When we have difficulty problems, like just watching your feeling, and recognize that problem, watching the feeling, and also then you log into your mind, use your awareness, look directly at awareness itself. Then conceptual thought will naturally liberate its own place, means then that time this negative feeling, anger, like upset, problem, this all thoughts, negative feeling will be naturally liberated in its own place. So that time then this auto obstacle not harm to you. So of course, like ordinary people, when you have problems, you get suffering, but as long as you meditate, you're not stuck longer. You can release, and you just use this method. That is the teaching. Then you use that meditation more often and often, that helps your mind is free from desire and attachment. So that is like actually condition, like some problem, suffering is our condition, used for the meditation. That's really helpful. So you have to understand that. Sometimes the people think, oh, I have this problem, then what I do? So I know this fixation, I know fixation. Some people say, I don't fixation, I understand, but it's still actually, even you say no fixation, you are fixation, long as you have suffering. So your fixation, the object or not, is then dependent, When you are no longer suffering, you are no fixation. You are still fixation, suffering, then you are fixation to the object. So we have to create that mindful awareness used to and become one day strong, and you practice more often and often become strong and strong. Okay, so if there is no fixation in the mind, then the appearance themselves cannot do anything harm. I think we are there, or I see there is earth. Oh, I see we are exactly there. If there is no fixation in the mind, the appearance themselves cannot do anything harm. It is fixating on these outer objects that cause the inward suffering of the mind. If there is no fixation, then the appearances are naturally liberated in their own place. When one does not grasp at outer appearances, then appearances are purified. So no grasping to the object, then appearances are purified. So that time, then you don't have to investigating like object is impermanent or permanent. So doesn't matter, it's whatever there, your mind is no longer attached to the object, no fixation to the object, then that's it. That's the goal. Still one can think, oh, so when appearances are purified, then they no longer manifest. However, this is a misunderstanding. Appearance ceaselessly manifest. So that is the important this section. Sometimes people say purify appearances means like no longer to you seeing this any object. That is wrong. So your mind is no longer to fixation to the object, then still your enemies there, loved ones there, but they're no longer causes of suffering. So still like you are free from fixation to the object, still you have obstacles. The people create obstacles, difficulties, criticize or whatever the people does. Still that problem is there. But that problems never ever affected your happiness. The problem is not causes of suffering. Become that or is depending individual level, maybe causes of happiness again. So that also see when we talk about all this phenomena is emptiness. You realize emptiness, this phenomena is still there. You realize emptiness and this phenomena is you think is gone. That also misunderstand. This phenomena is not gone, it's always there. But you no longer to fixation to that. Appearance is ceaselessly manifest. They appear, yet what is purified is that which tends or seems to cause the appearances. The appearances seems to be tainted or to become tainted. But it is through the fixation in the grasping mind that they appear that way. When we say appearances are purified, it is the fixation and craving towards them in the mind that is actually purified. So it doesn't mean that appearances are exhausted and they no longer appear, that they cease to appear because appearances still appear very clearly. So this appearances comes more clearly, but you recognize, no fixation to that. That means like you have more wisdom, you have more awareness, mindful, and no forget any like kind of like what you hear something, you no forget, you study something, that all is like there, you no forgetting, you have more sharp wisdom arise. So no, we don't have wisdom. The problem is because we fixation to the object. And we are forgetting many things. The problem is we fixation to the object. Long as our mind is fixation to the object, then not mindful, not wisdom. So there we don't seeing, recognize clearly the nature of phenomena. So you really understand, where is the problems come from. We think it's like we are fixation to the object, grasping to the, our relatives, loved ones, jobs. We think we are more understand, more, care about these things. Like we have more we think doing good, correctly something, but actually not. It's reality is doing everything wrong. That's why it's like sentient beings chasing the happiness, create causes of suffering. So we want happiness, but all create causes of suffering. Because our mind is fixation to the object, we think it's more, have ability or more power, or we can do something better, organize something, but it's not actually reality. So that's why, in fact, they may appear even more clearly than before. Could be clearly appear, but no fixation, no harms. That means you have more wisdom, understanding, no forget. And this high realizer teachers, when they share the teaching, when they are really old, still there's no problem sharing the teachings. They remember everything like clearly comes out, because there's no fixation to the object. That's why they have that wisdom arise. So no, really we understand where's the obstacle. Our wisdom is fixation to the object. So as the appearance is clearly appear, one also simultaneously sees their true nature. They're seeing the true nature. So understanding like all the relative truth, absolute truth clearly. One sees the empty essence of all things. It is as if all appearances become like a reflection in a mirror. That's the, who has realized emptiness. So then sees emptiness, essence of all things. It is as if all appearances become like a reflection in a mirror. So everything is like same as a reflection in the mirror, and the same is the reflection. Moon is a reflection in the water. Saraha, maybe you heard the Saraha. I don't know, Saraha. Who is Saraha? Saraha is also telepath teacher too. Nagazuna's teacher Saraha is yogi of the king of the yogis, India, Siddhas. So he don't have teachers. When he saw the moon is a reflection in the water, he realized. So that only that method he waking up. So then that's the reason sometimes the teachings says they have a chikcharwa, means some have ability, no need to go to stages one by one, and you right away you recognize. Some is like followed by stage by follow the stages. That also like in the debating, but the main point is Saraha also not, like right away he recognized, because he has already previous life teachings and the practice stages. He already get that level to become realized. So some just see something and the right way they recognize their own nature. That's also due to the previous life, the connections, teachings. And we receiving these teachings in this life. So even we not liberate in this life, in the Pardo, but the next life, some conditions right away you wake up. You know, even maybe not teachers, you can wake up because due to some conditions. So Telopa also, Naro, I mean the Saraha also happening like that too. You see the reflection, moon is in the water, he wake up. The reflection clearly appears in a mirror, yet you cannot reach out and grab it because it is merely a reflection. So you seeing this, you know, reflections in the mirror, you cannot grab that. Seeing, same as like moon's reflection in the water, you cannot grab that. The history is many monkeys try to get moon from the lake. That thing moon is falling into the water in the lake. They say we have to get out the moon from in the lake. The monkeys, you know, holding one by one and to try to get more. Everyone sinking in the water, they're dead. So they have the stories. I forget the whole stories. The Buddha shares, I think, like that stories. Like all the monkey have a good intention because they wanted to get more from the water, and they want to help that for others. That's the reason they become reborn something higher realms. They have stories. I think also in the Western also has some stories like that too, right? So yeah, so reflection clear appear in mirror, yet you cannot reach out and grab it because it is merely a reflection. It is not actually in object truly existing on its own side. So reflection is not exist on its own side, but you can see clearly. Then why these reflections we know exist, other object is not like that. Why is that? The main point is we are fixation to the object. That's why we have different than reflection more in the water in the real moon. We are appear to in the mirror, and our body is we see the difference because we are already fixation to in this body. So one day you realize, like then you are same as the reflection what moon is in the water, you know, no longer attached to the object. This object is not become a problem. It is just an empty reflection. For instance, think of the reflection of the moon in water or a person appearing on the television screen. A person appears on the screen, but there's not actually a rare person in that box. So that's see right now we can see each other. We have 265, 60, maybe 70s people here. So we're seeing each other, we're hearing each other. So you cannot be in this small like box in the tablet, but I can see you clearly. So that is like really good example is emptiness. Person appear in the screen, but there is not actually a real person in that box. It is just in illusory manifestation. But then we cannot say that it's not you, it's you, right? If you know that, then how can appear to there? So it's you, but then it's you, how can you stuck with it in the computer or laptop and the iPad? Not possible, right? If you are a real person, how can you into the iPad? 100 people, one iPad. So that is due to emptiness, actually emptiness. But we don't recognize that. Long as no fixation to the object and like this, like you can manifestation. Example, like 100 years before, you talked with someone, you can sit any country, we can come to wherever you sit, like any country, like hundreds of people gathering together, can talk each other, can see each other. That's not possible to accept that. Even like 50 years, not possible. Maybe even 30 years ago, no accept this. Yeah. So now we see, we can talk together, see each other, it comes together. So then the realized perception is totally more than different than that. So that's why we don't have to understand capacity, like we don't have a capacity to understand that level. That's why we say beyond our perceptions, beyond the words. You know, it's just in illusory manifestation. In this same way, if one is no longer bound by the fixating mind, the appearance clearly appear, yet they are experienced for what they are, empty in essence. There is no longer any clinging, attachment of those appearances. So the person who is become free from the attachment, then their mind is like same is like this zone, you know. They can see everything, but seeing form is empty, empty is form, form is emptiness. No longer attached to that. This is the explanation of the first Pita instruction, which is concerned with the outer objects that are apprehended by the mind. When there isn't any fixation to these appearances, then the fixation to outer appearances are purified. If one can meditate on this way, on appearances without fixation, then appearances are purified. So know the teaching, you know, you have teaching, but still you are stuck with this, you know, phenomena, object, because our minds is the fixation to the object. So now what we can do is, like what we have to do means we have to meditate. Meditate and look to our own mind, be into the present awareness, and you meditate like that, habituate again and again. So then one day you no longer fixation to the object. That is called shortcut way. Otherwise, you try to stop this fixation to the object one by one. Object is endless, never end, never finished. So we have the Pita instructions, like in every teaching actually has. The Shantideva he giving in the way of Buddhism, he said put shoes, yeah, don't put carpets in the earth. So you cannot cover earth, use the carpets. Just put shoes in your feet, then you can go everywhere. Same is like you cover whole earth with carpets. So that is example is very clear. You know, this first Pita instruction is the same. And we cannot reduce attachment object one by one. You say, I don't want attached to my car. You get rid of your car, you attach to another object. You get rid of that, you are attached to another object. Your mind is fixation to another object. So anyway, your problem is never solved. It's there. So you get out all your everything. Your fixation is still there. Your mind is bent. You are not free from suffering. Yeah. So that is like not get rid of everything. That doesn't help you anything. You know, sometimes like people hear the teachings, they get right with renunciation, and I say I'm going to be monk and nun. That goes 1 month and then come back, become lay people. So like that, you know, like you hear these teachings, oh, I'm going to get out, or this my object because I'm not going to attach to this object. Then you get rid of after 1 month, you regret. Then become your suffering, yeah? So now what do you have to do? meditate, have to release from your mind, not get out of the object. So then object also, your mind has the ability, object is become you can benefit others. So also you can, like levels, capacities, of course, like person who meditate, no fixation to object. That also another part is generosity, you giving things like intentionally, you want to help someone and giving in generosity. That also helps your mind strong and strong. And offering practice also helps your mind strong and strong. So the whatever you do, the create accumulation, the merit helps your mind become strong and strong. For you have more ability, become your mind free from fixations. So you need patience. So Gachi Rinpoche said, we need patience. And then what is another one? He says, so usually giving the example is two wooden cups, not two like glasses cups. So two glasses cups can be together, it can be broken each other, right? Hit each other, broken. Wooden cups hit each other, not broken. So like that, you need patient effort. So long as you are patient, so you can practice, and then your practice can like become stable and growing. So that's why he's sharing that, patience is very important. And without the patience, you think, oh, I'm going to do right now something, but take time, and you have to use your mind for awareness, bring this, all the conditions practice for bring the condition what you have, that it is use your practice. So condition what you have is not get rid out. When condition comes, you have to recognize, okay, when you're ready to generosity, when you're ready to offerings, when you're ready to do good things, when you're ready to meditate. So you have to use all the conditions for your own practice, meditate. Then one day you are no longer attached to your object. Your mind is free from samsara. Okay, so now we can leave their teaching. And do you have any questions?
There's a question in the chat room, Khenpo. I'll read it. Just a second, I have to open it up now. Jeez. Nirvana and samsara are dualism, and Mahamudra, does Mahamudra have dualism in it? I think that's what the question is.
Mahamudra.
Because we now I'm so the nirvana and samsara is the suffering and not suffering, but it is the dualism. And the next, when we studied the Mahamudra, part of Mahamudra, we studied that Mahamudra haven't dualism. How we studied this?
Sorry, but can you say again? I didn't get.
I must repeat.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we studied with this path. We have samsara and nirvana. Samsara is suffering. Nirvana is not freedom from suffering.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. But in the Mahamudra teaching, we haven't this the dualism. I see that nirvana and samsara is a dualism, not?
Yes.
And
okay.
How I understand this?
You can say like Mahamudra is free from samsara, nirvana both.
We
Yeah.
haven't nirvana and samsara.
No more nirvana, no more samsara, because no right hand, no left hand.
Okay,
That is
Okay.
Mahamudra. Okay.
okay. But in this case, in this in the natural state, but during our life, we have nirvana and samsara.
Mm. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
There's another question in the chat room. Can you give some examples of practicing patience? Khenpo.
Or practice patience.
Yes, an example of how to practice patience.
Or to practice patience. Wow. So many examples. What are we going to do that? Which way we're going to share? The main point, like we have to recognize our anger, right? So then you know we have anger and use the different method. They have many different methods. Example today, this Dzogchen Mahamudra is like when you have anger, you have to recognize anger, look to the anger, look to the anger. You seeing the anger is no longer exist actually. So you just seeing anger and be that seeing and then stay like that. You watching your mindful awareness, your anger is transformed through the mirror like wisdom. So that's the good way, highest level to practice patience. Yes.
That's great, Khenpo. There's a couple people that have raised their hand. Do you want me to call the names? Or are you okay to see that yourself?
Yes, I can see. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So Igor.
I'm just a short question about other realms. As I heard that you talked that we humans are very lucky that we have these all abilities to recognize our real nature. And of course, it's not so nice to be reborn as an animal or hell. And I'm surprised somehow about semi-gods and gods and of course I'm human, I don't know how they are, but why they are so like less lucky than we are humans. Of course I'm very happy to be human, as you said. That's all.
So your question is how do we help them other beings or?
No, like what is about semi-gods and gods, like higher realms and their capacities to recognize Buddha nature, because of course it's easy to understand that's not so desirable to be animal or hell realm, but and what's about semi-gods and gods seems like they have more capacities than us.
They don't have the more capacity than us because they have they have more obstacle too. And obstacle is a desire obstacles, pleasure obstacles, samsaric obstacle. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Melissa.
Thank you, Rinpoche. In another teaching, you mentioned that there are two types of liberation. One is recognizing emptiness of thought, but you said the other one was recognizing the emptiness of attachment itself. So my question is, how do you recognize the emptiness of attachment?
Emptiness, attachment. You mean that we share the teaching today or when?
A couple weeks ago, but I feel it's important to this discussion. You said liberation has two aspects. One is liberation of thought, but the subtle aspect is recognizing the emptiness of attachment itself. How do you recognize the emptiness of attachment itself?
So I say you recognize the attachment and you watch that, then the attachment is not exist, the emptiness. So just I talked with the anger, you know, anger arises, you recognize anger, you watch the anger is not exist. Same like that, when attachment arises, you watch the attachment, and then attachment is not exist, it's emptiness. Attachment is become emptiness. Emptiness means no inherently there exist, no ground, no root, just naturally dissolved.
So when a thought or emotion arises and we try to then liberate it, rather than each thought, each emotion, we can recognize the energy of that emotion as passion, aggression, or ignorance, and focus on the empty.
So yeah, it's okay, that's the
more subtle level.
We don't have to go to one by one, just generally, you know, any emotion arise, you just recognize and then watch that, mindful awareness, watch that. Then the emotion not going to rejecting, not going to accepting, the emotions naturally release their own. That's called liberating. Your mind try to remove is the not the liberating. That means like you try to rejecting. And so no rejecting, no accepting, just watching and then release their own nature. Okay, so that's the answer.
Okay, thank you.
There's some more questions in the chat room, and I'll go through them, and then Erica, who raised her hand. So how can we liberate our mind or purify our mind when phenomena like COVID affecting heavily some countries? So how do we let that go, I guess?
That go away?
How we let go I'm paraphrasing, but I think how we let go of the heaviness that we feel from the effect of COVID around the world.
Oh. Okay, so that's the, you know, right now, we just beginner, ordinary people thinking, and the meditation, spiritual let go is different. So of course, ordinary, our thinking where, you know, I mean, the ordinary people, our perception cannot let go. That is the suffering, difficulty. And then what we have to use for our method, the not fix, this is like for fix problem is like cause, you know, no result. The let go, try to solve problem, coronavirus is kind of more result, try to solve the problem. So right now we doing this meditation practice is try to solve the cause, you know, and long as we not solve the cause, result is always happening again and again, never can finish there. That is a samsara. So we practice meditation, try to solve the cause, you know, even with meditation practice, like we cannot say like you cannot get a coronavirus. So even you get coronavirus, maybe different than other who get the coronavirus. You know, it's the practitioners, meditators drawing this negativity is not stuck with the suffering, it's taking on to the path. So that ability, if long as we can use correctly, we can use this coronavirus is negative, is taking into the positive correctly, no harming for us. Okay. So example, I'm not a practitioner meditator. If I get example, if I'm the practitioner, what I have to do when I get virus, not too sad, no longer suffering, you know, like myself, to get like thinking about, oh, why I get this virus, you know, like too much worrying. Rather than that, I think it's okay. This is get virus is like purifying my karma. You know that due to something, karma is burning. My karma is previous life. My negative karma is burning. This virus help me, you know, the sickness help me remove my lower realm sufferings. So that kind of, you know, change mindset, then wishing this my sickness is like the representative of all others' sufferings due to this, who get, you know, like other beings as a disease, the representative other beings disease. So use that mind generate, and then, you know, do the dedication and the practice, use that is taking to the right path. So yogis practitioners say, even I don't get sick, I'm happy to not get sick. Even I get sick, I'm happy to sick, I can purify my karma and create accumulation merit. So that's the way individually have changed mindset and do go to the right path. So that's the answer, I think.
Hey, Erica's next, and after her, there's a question from the chat room.
Thank you so much. Good day to everyone. I was getting a little bit late, and I would ask to you, dear Khenpo, if you can speak a little bit more about the history of the meeting of Padmasambhava and this lady. Was he in a retreat, right? It could be really great if you speak a little bit more about this history, for please. Thank you.
Yes, he is a retreat. So he finished the retreat, he come out, he circumambulate the Samye Monastery, and then this old lady is also circumambulating the Samye Monastery. So she saw the Padmasambhava and posted offerings, and then she records this teaching.
Wow. Okay, but before she gave some fruit and something to eat to Padmasambhava, I guess, in this retreat.
Yes.
Or...
Yeah, then you are there beginning.
Excuse me.
Okay, so your answer is you get yourself. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your question.
Yaviar asks, how can I improve my devotion? And how can I identify into the 84,000 Buddhas' teachings in the correct method for me?
So how to create devotion? Devotion is not only one source, it's all is interdependent. So many causes, contradictions there have to come from the devotion. So that's why we cannot point one source, devotion. And you do practicing Dharma, listening, teaching, so you engage with the 6 perfections, then comes your due to your practice, it comes more devotion arise. Yeah. So then 84,000 Dharma is as long as you use these 6 parameters, relatively you doing this 6 perfection practice, then all the teachings is subsumed into the 84,000 Dharma teachings is subsumed these 6 parameters, 6 perfections.
So it's Devor next. Raised his hand.
Hello, Rinpoche.
Hi.
Wait, I have to see you to get the picture. Anyway. How can we be sure if the thought is liberated or not in the Mahamudra practice? Is it Sherab or Namtok, as you, if I catched right the expressions in Tibetan?
Sorry about that. Can you say again?
Also, can you turn the sound off on your other device because it's echoing?
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Just a second, please. I don't have the sound on the computer, so I use the mobile for that. How can we be sure if the thought in the Mahamudra practice, I mean maybe in daily life, in activity, is it really liberated thought, or did I just ignore the thought?
Okay.
Was it Sherab or Namtong, as you say? Was it moving or not moving?
Okay,
how can I be
liberating thought means you can liberate maybe 1 thought, 2 thoughts, 10 thoughts, 20 thoughts, it's depending on your ability. So when thoughts arise, like see, you recognize thoughts, no rejecting, no accepting, just let be and purified. So that is the liberating thoughts. Then if you don't recognize, you follow the thoughts, you just follow the thoughts. That thought is not liberating. That is for ordinary people usually. And you just maybe have one day have 100,000 thoughts. So you can maybe 10,000 thoughts. I mean, the 10 thoughts can liberate. That's also great. So Shirab means you understand what's going on. Shirab is also the more generally words is many different kind of mindful. So long as you have Shirab mindful, you recognize you have a thought. So you recognize
it's still
all the thoughts. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Thoughts.
I guess that's it.
Not ignore the thoughts. You depending individual level. Of course, the beginners have to stop the thoughts. Use the shamatha meditation. Stop the thoughts. Then you have become more ability. You don't have to stop the thoughts. Liberating the thoughts. So that's all up to the individual level, Yeah. Okay, so next question then.
So how far the thought? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
There's a couple of people have asked if there's a reading transmission for your teaching.
Oh, that's a reading transmission. Yes, it's I can do the root text reading transmission. Yes.
Okay.
tomorrow, not
That's
today.
it. I think that's it.
Okay, thank you. So now we're going to do the dedication then. Marilyn, can you share the prayer?
Yes, I'm sorry, I didn't have it opened up.
Okay.
I'm just doing that now.
And Maho in the center is marvelous Buddha Amitabha boundless light. On the right side is the Lord of great compassion, and on the left is Vajrapani, the Lord of powerful means, or are surrounded by limitless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Immeasurable peace and happiness is the bliss for puring over their watching. When I know beings pass from samsara, may we be born there without taking samsara rebirth. May I have the blessing of meeting Amitabha face to face by the power of blessing of the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas of the 10 directions. May we attain this aspiration without hindrance. Tiyata Pinzandaya, our Modhanaya Soha, Bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, where it is unborn may arise, where it is born may not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. By this virtue may I achieve omniscience, by defeating all enemies, confusion, may all who traverse on the waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death, cross the ocean of samsara, as Majeshwari the Vero realized the ultimate state, and as did Samantha Bhadava follow in the path, and fully dedicate all the merit for sentient beings. May the teaching of the great Digompa Ranashiri, who is omniscient Lord of Dharma, Master of Interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of the samsara. Thank you, everyone.
Tojicha, great master. Tojicha.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you, Khenpo. Thank you, Sangha.
Thank you,
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Tashidele.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Bye-bye.
Tomorrow.
Goodbye. See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Thank you so very much.